We've got almost endless distractions happening on a regular basis. Like, if you agree, comment down below if you can even maybe point out some of the distractions that you're witnessing and seeing happening on a regular basis. But I'm not gonna lie, some of these distractions really, really got me kind of like, what the? Kid drag shows.
Oh,
Kid drag shows.
So I don't know if you're about to talk about the thing. I only saw a little clip of this, and it was like a 13-year-old. It was like a young teenage, like a 13-year-old. 13-year-old.
13-year-old.
Sorry, the dog distracted me like ridiculously. It was like a 13-year-old boy dressed in drag who was basically doing a twerk dance show for a group of grown men. I don't know where this was, how this happened, and who these grown men were that wanted to be there. That's even more of an issue to me than, no, it's the same amount of issue to me as the 13-year-old. But the fact that all these grown men were there for it is extremely disturbing in itself.
Distractions. Now, granted, it's happening, but why? Again, we have to ask the question, why? Like, what are they trying to distract you from? But why is this a thing? I mean, I'm all for people having the right to choose whatever they want to do and opinions and hobbies, but this just seems kind of stupid.
Well, because
it seems really dumb. And if my son said that he wanted to be, I don't have a son, but if he said he wanted to be doing the drag stuff for an audience of men, like, no, it's just no.
Yeah. So what I've noticed is that every 6 months, it seems there's a new thing to distract us from everything else. First, it was cops and crime. Then it was black and white. Then it was something else, gay stuff. Now it's transgender stuff. Like, there's always something new that is like the zoom in focal point that they want you looking at, that they're pushing on every single social media, whatever, while everything else is happening all around that they're not talking about.
Now, here's the problem. I will not be able to bring you guys any real relevant information from these topics because I will not allow them to distract me.
Yes, same.
Nor do I want them to have any influence on my YouTube and Google search recommendations or be in my browser history.
Also that. I jump on your computer and be like, what is this?
You know, I'm like, no, it was research, I swear.
Research.
But Officer Tatum had a video, which I saw a thumbnail for, and it says trans kid moms force dilating holes. I don't even want to know what that means.
What?
I don't even want to know what that trans kid, his mom forced dilated holes. Forced dilation of holes just doesn't sound good.
No.
Doesn't sound good.
No.
I'll let you do that search on your own if you want.
I don't even know if I want to know.
So these are distractions. Russia-Ukraine conflict, the UN Security Summit, CMT Country Music Awards Ceremony. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things. I'm just saying that they are designed to distract. When we got a lot of other stuff going on out there. Pro XRP lawyer updates investors on when Ripple lawsuit may end and says insiders won't have prior knowledge. That's what they say. That's what they say. Because obviously, if insiders had prior knowledge, they're gonna buy up. They're gonna buy up so much XRP. It's unbelievable. And then we're gonna see the pump. We're gonna see the pump. Meanwhile, Elon Musk warns of population crisis in the U.S. Says big reckoning coming.
That one's a very high topic right now with the overpopulation and what people call agenda something 2030. I think it was 2020, now it's 2030 or something like that. But the overpopulation is a big one.
Overpopulation. Meanwhile, we have toxic ingredients in some seasonings, I believe. We've got metal shavings in the seasonings. We have these avian flu. We've got, I'm sure we'll have a salmonella outbreak 2023 at some point in time. Not to mention the financial component of the economic impact of monetarily wiping people out to further reduce the population. Elon Musk, who has been encouraging the public to have more babies, is back with concerns about a population collapse amid a failing birth rate. So
Well, technically, the government is also pushing more kids since they overturned Roe versus Wade.
Perhaps, maybe that is part of maybe that's part, that's the why. The why is we need more births.
They need more births because they need more working age people at some point, since the highest level of people right now are the ones who are going into retirement and dying.
Yeah. The unemployment rate has a lot to do with the age of people aging out. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has anything to do with the actual state of the economy. And, the government wanting more births and more babies just reminds me, paints a visual picture in my head of that scene from The Matrix where they just breed people for energy.
Which is also the weird part. If we're worried about overpopulation, why are we making it so that you have to have kids? Like it's that weird like catch. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a distraction, and we need to get down to the why. We need to get down to the why on that one. That's what it is.
I know.
In a tweet on Friday, Musk said that the U.S. would face consequences as a result of a declining birth rate, and that Japan is a leading indicator. Japan is at risk of this because for so long they have enforced like a single child limit. And then now that is backfiring on them, and they're actually in addition to people fleeing the country and just leaving altogether, they're going to ultimately end up with this negative birth rate.
So here's my thought on that. So I saw a thing a long time ago that talked about in Japan you can only have one kid. I don't think China was ever like that, right? It's only Japan.
You know what? I think China too.
I don't remember.
I think China was dependent on if you had a boy or a girl.
Okay, so that was the other thing I was going to say. I saw a thing a while ago that there was a lot of getting rid of a pregnancy or a kid if it was not the sex that they wanted it to be. And then most of them wanted boys to carry on the family name and to do these things. So then you have all these boy births and no female births. So you can't continue population.
Well, interestingly enough, I think that they're not China, but there's a company out there working on choosing the baby.
Oh, no. The lab one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about that one about a month or so ago, and that's just the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It literally is the Matrix, where you grow a baby in a little pod. You can check on it. You can decide its eye color and all this other stuff, and it's terrifying.
What's the return policy?
That's the part that's terrifying because I have no idea.
It's not what I ordered. Send it back.
And then you're just gonna have a little like Cabbage Patch dolls, basically.
Breaking: U.S. Social Security funds are projected to be depleted 2033, a year earlier than previous estimates, per Reuters. And Elon Musk says that big reckoning coming due to low birth rate. Japan is leading indicator. The billionaire entrepreneur was responding to a tweet about a report regarding the projected depletion of Social Security funds by 2033. Reuters reported that the country's Social Security system's central trust funds reserves will be depleted in 2033, 1 year earlier than estimated. While finances surrounding the nation's Medicare program have improved slightly, according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, and Prevention's National Center for Health Statistics, approximately 3.7 million babies were born in the U.S. in 2021, about 46,000 more than were born in 2020, but the 1% increase still put the numbers short of 2019 levels. Births have also dropped by an average of 2% yearly since 2014, including a decline of twice that much between 2019 and 2020. But we did see 46,000 more births in 2021. 2021.
Because of...
Yeah.
Because everybody
You're
was
sitting at the couch with nothing
You're
to
sitting
do.
at the couch with nothing to do. All you could do is Netflix and chill for however long while the world was shut down.
Make some more babies. These are the top U.S. banks by proportion of uninsured deposits and why you shouldn't panic if you see your bank on the list. Now,
don't listen to that. Panic if you see your bank on the list.
Folks, uninsured deposits, I would try to avoid uninsured deposits. That's just
All day long.
just my opinion. Apple launches buy now, pay later. This is a sign of the times. Now, this may not necessarily be a distraction, but the question is why? Why? But it's about to face its first real stress test. Buy now, Apple launches buy now, pay later because they know that people don't have enough money to pay their outrageously high prices for their products.
Well, technically, they're already part of a buy now, pay later through your cell phone company. Because remember when we were just looking at the S23 Ultras, it was you could pay this much up front or you could do a monthly payment. And a lot of people can't because the prices of phones are like stupid if you want to get it right now.
I would imagine in that scenario, Apple's going to get their money 100%.
Yeah.
AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, whoever your carrier service provider is, they're going to have to get paid later.
I wonder how much it is total at the end of you paying for it monthly versus paying for it up front. Does it equal the same amount or is there interest? I'm
sure there's a little bit added to it in addition to the upgrade fee. They charge you a fee to upgrade. Yeah. Ours was waived. But also then they have this option where you can pay another $7 or $6 a month to upgrade early in the future. Mm-hmm. It's a gimmick.
It's all gimmicks.
Apple's newest payment plan, Apple Pay Later, started rolling out this week as a pre-release for select US shoppers. Apple's sales are not quite necessarily where they would want them to be, given the current state of the economy, the recession that we're in. Mm-hmm. Inflation is taking a toll on people's ability for these wants and this disposable spending of Apple products that start at $800 for anything.
So you know what sucks here? I have not read this article, but I can guarantee it said certain shoppers, or what did it say? How did it phrase it? Phrase it.
You're jumping ahead here.
No, but phrase it for me.
Started rolling out this week as a pre-release for select U.S. shoppers.
Select U.S. shoppers, meaning the ones who have lower credit scores, the ones who... No.
Nope.
Okay, so you've read it ahead, but I would think it'd be the ones who don't have the ability to afford it based off their monthly income or their credit. That way they get the interest rates from them. And those people who know they don't have the money for it can still go out and get it so they can stunt for their peers, basically.
I didn't read ahead as far as what the credit criteria entails. And perhaps maybe Apple may start targeting, a particular market that may not necessarily be super qualified to try to capitalize on this interest. Mm-hmm. But what if this takes a completely different approach? And Apple's looking at it like, we're not going to go based on your credit score, FICO score, and your repayment history. We're going to go based on your social credit score.
Which then, why would they give the perks? Well, give the perks to the people who don't need the perks, basically.
I'm not saying that they will or they won't, but what if Apple's saying, you know what? How many Apple products have you bought in the past? What does your Twitter feed look like?
Kind of like a Porsche allotment.
Allocation.
Allocation. I knew that was not the right word.
The release solidifies buy now, pay later as more than a financing fad and up the competition in an already crowded market. Online shoppers will no doubt have seen a BNPL, which is the abbreviation acronym for buy now, pay later option, advertised at checkout. Even the smallest purchases offering financing, letting you spread the cost over several payments, interest-free, assuming you pay on time. Interesting. So interest-free, assuming you pay on time, just means that Apple's really just trying to move product.
I was about to say move product and then also hope that maybe you don't pay it all off in time because the way they set up the payments isn't designed for you to pay it all off before the interest-free period stops.
I'd say if I work for Apple, if I work for any company and they're moving towards a model that literally is allowing people to buy now, pay later at no added cost, that is a red flag.
I would say so too, personally.
Fitting as this next Yahoo Finance headline kind of paints a picture of the economy, this generation or upcoming generation, how people are looking at their lifestyle, their finances, their spending, their future. Is a diamond truly forever? how millennials who are less attached to traditions are abandoning old rules of thumb for what rings true to them. Diamond sales tend to be cyclical. Meanwhile, there's a misconception that lab diamonds aren't real diamonds, insinuating that based on what we're seeing in the economy, based on what we're seeing with people's personal finances and what matters to them and or possibly what they could even afford, they're moving away from spending thousands and thousands of dollars on real diamonds with, the best cut, color, and clarity that, guess what? No one with the naked eye is ever going to be able to see or tell or probably even give a shit. Are now saying if we're even going to do it, we'll just get a lab-made diamond.
Well, that's cool, but at some point that lab-made diamond is going to cost just as much as a regular diamond if that's all that's going to sell.
No, that is a true statement. Everything is going to go up in price at some point.
Yes.
It's all going up.
The more popular it becomes, the sooner it will go up in price. That's how it works.
Diamonds are forever. Who said that? That was a song.
Bond.
Oh, that was a Bond movie? Uh-huh. But this is a song too, right?
For Bond.
Okay. I think Jay-Z. Was it Jay-Z?
No, it was not Jay-Z.
The next big thing in big tech career path is an AI-based bilingual job skill set. So, folks, we're covering a lot of ground here. But if we take all the distractions and put them to the side, what we have to understand and realize here is that the economy is moving very rapidly, shifting, evolving, and things are not going to be like what they were in probably like the next 12 months. It's going to be a completely different landscape.
Out of everything we've talked about, this is actually the scariest one. The AI-based bilingual job skill set. Because right now, if you want to go get a job and you speak English, you can make this much money. If you only speak Spanish, you're going to make this much money. But if you can speak both, you're going to make more than either one of those other two. However, AI being bilingual is not free, but it's definitely cheaper than having an employee. And how many employees can speak numerous languages so you can talk to your markets all across the world?
I think that if we read between the lines here, this bilingual term could potentially mean that you speak to humans, but you also speak to AI. Whereas I've said before, you may work for AI. AI may be your boss. I think this bilingual job skill set means being able to go back and forth between the real world and the machine world.
Which denotes a very high level of intellect for AI and makes me think of the movie iRobot immediately.
And it's happening, folks. People are being eliminated. AI will replace them, and for good reason, because companies and corporations don't want to have to deal with this. Starbucks fired the employee responsible for igniting the Starbucks Workers United Union campaign.
Yep. Because they don't want unions, because then they don't have the ability to control pay and hours and things like that.
Granted, AI could potentially spark some shit up. They'll just pull the plug.
Yeah.
They'll pull the plug.
Yeah.
Starbucks fired Alexis Rizzo, the employee responsible for igniting the Starbucks Workers United Union campaign. CNBC confirmed Rizzo worked as a shift supervisor at Starbucks for 7 years and served as a leader at the Janice Street store in Buffalo, New York, which was one of the first two stores in the country to win its union campaign. Starbucks Workers United announced Rizzo's termination in a tweet Saturday and said in a corresponding GoFundMe page that the quote unquote, "this is retaliation at its worst," end quote. That would, honestly, if you look at Starbucks' business model, similar to Chick-fil-A and similar to McDonald's, McDonald's actually had a movie, Founder, which I think Founder actually, that was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Went into how McDonald's
founded.
How McDonald's,
how the Golden Arches started.
and how they ended up restructuring the layout of the back of house for maximum efficiency. I believe someone even said that Chick-fil-A hired Disney World staff to help them manage flow. Starbucks did the same thing, literally realizing how far apart to space things, where to put certain things, cut down on production time by seconds, which maximized output and ultimately revenue. And that ceiling that I was telling you guys about in the food-based industry, time is the factor. So why wouldn't Starbucks move to a point of which AI could do it all? AI could be the best barista, the fastest, most efficient barista, and wouldn't try to form a union. OPEC announces surprise oil cuts while U.S. calls the move inadvisable. This is going to wrap this video up, folks. Actually, I take it back. I got one more. But it's going to, I think, conclude and kind of like wrap all this up to let you guys know that the distractions are happening. The whys we have to realize and understand, plan, protect, and prepare for, which will ultimately produce higher prices, greater difficulty in managing your personal finances, the pain felt by businesses and families, shrinking of balance sheets, job loss. The U.S. has argued that the world needs lower prices to support economic growth and prevent Russian President Vladimir Putin from earning more revenue to fund the Ukraine war. The Biden administration said it sees the move announced by the producers on Sunday as unwise. And a spokesperson for the National Security Council said that we don't think cuts are advisable at this moment, given market uncertainty, and we've made that clear. End quote. The voluntary cuts start in May and last until the end of the year. Iraq will reduce its production by 211,000 barrels per day, according to an official statement. And the latest reductions could lift oil prices by at least $10 per barrel. And according to a quote here from CNBC's article, I expect the market to open several dollars higher, possibly as much as $3. This step is unreservedly bullish. But basically, folks, you got to realize oil, the price of oil, pretty much dictates almost the price of everything. And OPEC making cuts means there's going to be less supply, more demand, the ability to raise prices, drive prices up at a time where it's like really salt in the wound.
Well, keep in mind, the goal is by 2030, the EV, the electric vehicles, are supposed to be the main thing. So the easiest way to ensure that they hit that goal is to make it hard for you to continue on the way you are with your gas-powered vehicles and things like that.
But the problem is that oil, petroleum, it takes so much to even make EV possible, let alone almost everything is petroleum-based. Almost everything.
They also want to move away from. They want to find a way to go green, clean, whatever else. And you can make a lot of things with hemp that are made with plastics and stuff like that too. So there's ways around these things. It's just sometimes people push for it and sometimes people search for it. There's two different ways to get there. And this is a push.
Well, speaking of ways around certain things, people in this country actually, and other countries around the world, but more specifically here in America, United States, quote unquote, we've saved probably close to $100,000. Affluent Americans are snatching up prime real estate in other parts of the world as the U.S. housing market slumps. And this is a way around this potential housing market crash and problems that are going on here, and a way to diversify your investment portfolio, potentially have some upside, a great return on investment, or even just relocate.
You know what's interesting to me or ironic to me? The same people who are like, I'm going to go buy a home in Mexico are mad when somebody from Mexico comes here and buys a home. I'm just saying. Or when somebody from China comes here and buys up homes, but they don't mind going to, Japan and buying something there.
How dare you point out other people's faults?
I'm just saying, like, it's just ironic to me. Because technically they're like, well, they're illegals. They're not citizens here. If we had a home in Mexico, I'm not a citizen of Mexico. Why could I have a home there?
American buyers are buying properties abroad. The numbers show a clear trend. Coldwell Banker surveyed wealthy American buyers and noted that 67% of respondents own properties outside the U.S., according to WealthX figures. The number of high net worth Americans who purchased property abroad in 2022 was also expected to rise by 14% from 2021 and 29% from 2019. And some countries like Portugal also offer golden visa programs in which wealthy individuals obtain residency or citizenship in exchange for a substantial investment like in real estate. So perhaps maybe through this golden visa, now they're going to be on the hook for paying taxes of some sort. They're stimulating the economy. You know, they're bringing dollars over. And it says that, you know, the exchange rate is in their favor, you know, in some of these countries. So, folks, a lot of distractions, a lot of updates, a lot of breaking news, a lot of potential impacts to your income, your finances, your savings, your wealth, your earning potential and opportunities, as well as other opportunities of investments outside of the United States. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know. Thank you again, Squirrel Tribe, Michelle. Michelle, Squirrel Tribe. And thank you all for watching. Please give the video a like, help support the channel, help boost it in the algorithm. It helps out a lot. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on alerts and notifications. Comment down below questions, comments, concerns. Share this video with anybody you think would be helpful too. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care.